Hello there, many thanks for joining us on Africa in View. I am Adenike Owoye Ajiboye. Of course, Africa in View is a program that examines events, happenings, and developments, of course, shaping Africa. So today on the program, we are going to be examining a very critical sector of Nigeria's sector, and this time around we are looking at the education sector. There is breaking news that the federal government is planning to, of course, concession unity schools in Nigeria. Education has often been described as the foundation of national development. And of course, in Nigeria, the federal government colleges, popularly known as unity schools, have for 6 decades stood as symbols of academic excellence, national integration, and equal opportunity. Established shortly after Nigeria's independence, these schools were designed to bring together children from different ethnic, religious, and socio-economic backgrounds, helping to build a united nation through education. However, a fresh debate has emerged following reports that the federal government has approved the concessioning of particularly King's College Lagos under a public-private partnership PPP arrangement and other schools, of course, up to 100 of them. This development has drawn strong opposition from the Parent Teachers Association, where the one that commercial interests could gradually replace the educational values upon which the schools were found. The argument is also that these unity schools are national assets and should never become profit-making ventures. Yes, the organized labor too have also condemned this. Based on this, again, the Association of Senior Civil Servants of Nigeria, ASCSN, also argues that such a move could pave the way for the gradual privatization of unity schools across the country and make quality education inaccessible to millions of Nigerian children. And you're aware of the high number of school dropouts in Nigeria. Now, supporters of private-public partnerships, however, argue that government alone can no longer shoulder the enormous financial burden of maintaining public institutions and private sector participation, that it could improve infrastructure and efficiency. So today, where should we draw the line, or where should the government draw the line? So the question we asked today on Africa in View is, one, is the concessioning of unity schools a necessary reform or a dangerous precedent? Another question we are asking is, can public-private partnerships improve education without compromising public assets? Especially because we have seen so many sectors that have been, privatized. Take, for instance, the electricity. Talking about Power Holding Company of Nigeria, and it seems that Nigeria is not even better for it today. Now, again, the question we asked today is, should education be treated as a social service or a commercial enterprise? And lastly, what does this debate mean for the future of Nigerian education heritage? And now, this is Africa in View. So these and many more is what we will be dissecting on the program today. But first, let's quickly take a look at the newspapers, what is making headlines. We'll take a short break and we will be right back. Yes, welcome back from that break. Joining me today is a very strong comrade. Join me to welcome National President of the Association of Civil Servants of Nigeria, ASCSN, Comrade Shehu Mohammed. Comrade Shehu Mohammed, many thanks for joining us on Africa in View. All right, the understanding surrounding the controversy, your union has strongly opposed reports of concessioning unity schools in Nigeria. I want to know what your areas of concern is. Now, apart from you also condemning this, the organized union has also rejected it. The same thing with Parent Teachers Association. But this time around, I want to know what the concerns of your own union is on this very concessioning of unity schools, especially King's College.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. Yeah, you may recall some years back during the Obasanjo regime, several attempts was made in order to, in fact, at that time to sell all the unity schools in the country. But our union stood their ground and that frustrated that effort, and we succeeded in getting the school back to the masses. Um, we see no reason why this concessioning of these unity schools will continue, because these schools were the only patrimony, collective patrimony that is left for the common man in Nigeria to utilize. This is just an avenue where the children of the poor from the far Borno State and Lagos would have the opportunity to meet and study together as Nigerians, as children of the masses of the country. So it is a great opportunity for the unity of the country and for future unity of our children. If government can now see this as a way of making business, if the old boy student feel like they are playing with our future, because it is a great opportunity whereby Nigerians can come together to develop the country through this educational facility. But we wonder if at all the parents, the old school boys want to improve the standard of such schools, they can inject money into it. In fact, supervise it, ensure that you take part in the implementation of whatever facility infrastructure you are going to bring into the schools. Not to claim that you want to own the schools because the school has a lot of land, has a vast land that for future development, and you want to utilize it for commercial activities, and you want to commercialize the school so that these children will deprive the opportunity of having this education for free. You are concession. What are you going to concession? Are you concessioning the hostels to the students, the children of the poor? What are you concessioning the So there are so many other areas that government can go and concession, but education is key, especially the education that has to do with the children of masses. So we view this as a kind of another war that is going to deprive the common man in Nigeria the opportunity to have a standard education, just as is happening in other countries of the world today. In fact, even the capitalist nations today, they have hundreds and thousands of schools that are being run by the government for the children of the masses. So we see no reason why the government can now give approval for these people to commercialize the schools. It's not fair for Nigerians. It's not fair for the teachers that are teaching in the school. And it's not generally, it's not even something that one can say that yes, this is a part of development, because government is supposed to inject money into making the school to be standard, that they will also be proud of it. Nigerians will also be proud of it. So we kick against it because it's going to deprive a lot of Nigerians the opportunity to interact with one another, with one segment of the country, in order to have a common thinking towards developing the nation.
All right. So let me then ask this way: why can you speak to the importance of unity schools to Nigeria's history and, of course, national integration?
Yes, as it is now, even when you look at the political angle of it, majority of the politicians today that are friends, they met in some of these unity schools because it's spread across the country. We have 110 unity schools. And as the names implied, unity, it brings about the opportunity to interact with people from different sections of the country. And that brings about unity. That brings about interacting and thinking how to develop the country. Today we are thinking we're having problem of I came from social section of the country, then somebody came from a social section. We have not ever interact to know my culture, to know his culture. But this give us the opportunity, give Nigerian children the opportunity to interact, to know the different diversity in the cultural heritage of our country. So that when they grow up with that, definitely the country will improve without having this a kind of sentiment across the ethnic nationalities in the country. So the importance of this school cannot be overemphasized. And it is one opportunity that government, the federal government, inject more money in order to make the standard of education a very high, at a very high stage, that every Nigerian will be proud to have his child in that school.
Okay, comrades, of course, it will also aid inclusiveness, undoubtedly. However, government describes the arrangement as a public-private partnership rather than outright privatization. Why is the union unconvinced in regards to most likely government is unable to sustain a funding of these unity schools?
Let me ask you, what have we witnessed anywhere this privatization work? Look at the electricity sector now. Look at the telecommunication system. These are areas that at least for now we could have not been put in such mess that people are crying why there's no electricity. Even the so-called telecommunication. So it is the responsibility of government to provide education, to provide these services. And we are just talking about 110 unity schools. The government has been sustaining these schools for quite a long time. And if at all the all boys have this zeal in their mind to contribute towards improving the standard of these unity colleges, they could have come on to collaborate with the government, at least help in areas that the government have not reached, in order to have a collective commitment towards improving the schools. Not to request for handing over, because if you hand it over, definitely what they are looking, what the always are looking at, that most of these schools have lands and they want to invest in it. Most of these schools are schools that they have a lot of children that are coming from all over the country, and they have to tax the children. That is just about it. So these are the collective patrimony that we feel that, yes, as of today, this is one of the only thing that remains for Nigerians to utilize. And if we start this, I am sure the state also will fall into it. Definitely, school education now will not be common man cannot sponsor his child to obtain a standard education in the country. So it is the responsibility of the government. The government must up to that responsibility to provide quality education for the citizenry.
Okay, let me then ask, did government in any way, did they consult the organized labor? Because of course you are a stakeholders, and from the way you were sounding, it's obvious that the government never consulted you or the organized labor as a whole. How true is this? And what would you be saying directly to government?
It is very unfortunate that when this issue started, we approached the Minister of Education on this matter. We sat with them and we agree on modalities to go about this. We are to bring our position. The all boys will also bring their position, and then we'll meet on the round table in order to see how we can harmonize and what name we're even going to give it. Instead of concessioning, they are saying concessioning they're saying that non-profit concessioning that has not been mentioned. And then in the concession of what area are they going to take? Are they going to cover? So we agree that we are going to meet. All of a sudden, the federal government now pronounced that they have already finished making arrangement to concession these schools without concluding the meeting we are holding with the Federal Ministry of Education. So we met with the minister, and the minister gave us the assurance that yes, we are going to meet until when this our committee set up to see whether the constitution is in the best interest of Nigeria or otherwise before they can go further. That is where we are. So we have not concluded that meeting. We just heard of the constitution has already taken place.
Slap on the organized labor and other stakeholders in the education sector for the government to have said that they will be meeting with you on this plan, and eventually went ahead and announced this.
This is a big slap, because we have been deceived. Because we will respect the Honorable Minister of Education. I will believe on what he said. We held a meeting with the Honorable Minister of Education and the Minister of State, and that is, and even though with the All Boys Association, that is what we concluded. And upon all the agreement and all the appreciation that yes, we are to conclude this matter as soon as possible in order to take decisive action on the whole issue. Now the federal government, the Minister of Education, has presented a memo for the approval of the State Executive Council. We have been deceived, honestly speaking. That's just the point we're looking at.
If this is a game of deceit, now let's look generally in regards to unity schools. What do you think should be the most critical that the government should be thinking now, since you feel and majority of labor leaders have condemned these concessioning of unity schools? What do you think is the most critical needed at this point, either to raise the standard or any other any other solution that will make the unity schools better?
Year in, year out, the government appropriate for this 101 unity schools. If the funds are being injected appropriately, definitely the standard of the school have been changed to a more standardized structure by now. So even with that, if the government is lacking in providing some of this infrastructure to improve the educational sector at these schools, and the old boys feel that yes, we have the opportunity now to come in and collaborate with the government in order to make this school to more standard. Then they can come in. There are so many ways they can come in. They can build and hand over to the government. They can improve and hand over to the government, and the government ensured full utilization and protect it without taking part of the school to some of these always. So their mission is not all about improving the education. Their mission is all about the asset of the school, which we know, especially the bus land in most of the schools. So it's not fair. It's not fair for government to, at least at this critical time, that we need this education to be standardized in order to catch up with other countries of the world, and then you are concessioning it because you want at least to maybe stop funding part of the responsibility that is within the shores of the federal government. So the federal government should come up and inject more money into it and do the needful. If anyone feels that yes, the federal government is not doing much, can come in collaborate, build, and give it to the government to manage, or the schools to manage. Not to come in, to invest and then think that whatever you invest, you are looking for profit, because they cannot inject money to improve the to make the standard of the school the way they want it, and then without tasking the children of the poor in the school. So whatever they built in is going back to the children, to the student. The student are going to pay for it. So that is what we are looking. That's what we are saying. That is what we are saying. If you cannot help Nigerians today at this critical moment, then you should not add more injury to it.
I have two questions on my mind, and that is, if eventually, because we are aware of how government sometimes, acts, if eventually government considers and goes on with this plan to privatize these unity schools, what do you think? Can you help us to highlight some of the effects on students and also citizens?
I'm telling you, a lot of students, over 50% of the students in unity schools today will drop out, because their parents cannot afford what the charges these old boys are going to put on them. So I don't see any benefit the government will drive of that. So the school now will just be for the soul of early children. It's just going to be for their children and the children of the business class. So the children of the poor will now have to go elsewhere or drop the educational career. So that's just what is going to happen. And I don't think you have done justice to Nigerians.
So this will be seen as injustice to the average Nigerian citizen. However,
Exactly.
comrade, as a stakeholder, are you perturbed that students and teachers that have been kidnapped are running over a month now? They've been captured by these bandits. What is your take on this issue? What are you stakeholders doing in regards to this? What are you not having discussion with government? I mean, what is happening? There's a kind of silence in regards to these students and teachers that have been kidnapped all this while.
Even before now, my members were kidnapped on their way to attend promotion exam in Abuja. And the same message we sent to the government is what we sent to the government during this period. The government must have to redouble their efforts in securing this country, because it's like now the intent of these kidnappers has now moved from people in the cities now to schools. So if government have not done anything on this, definitely there will come a time when schools will be empty, because parents will not be comfortable in sending their children to learn in these schools because there's no security. And this is catastrophic. It's going to be very, very catastrophic to Nigerians, where the educations, children that are supposed to be in schools are now roaming in the street because there's no security. So we are calling on the government, as we did during the time when it happens to our members, that government to intensify effort to make sure that these children were bring back to their parents, and also to ensure that adequate security measures are taken in order to protect the schools, so that children will continue to be going to schools. In fact, it has touches the minds of so many children, not even in that state. Almost all the state now, children are now thinking of how they will survive, how the moment they're out of their parent house, going to school, they'll be thinking twice. Are they coming back, or kidnappers will teach them off?
All right, comrades, this is how much I can take from you. I'd like to say many thanks to you for making your insights known today. Thank you so much for your contribution. And for the benefit of my viewers, I've been speaking with the National President of the Association of Senior Civil Servants of Nigeria, Comrade Shehu Mohammed. Thank you so much, sir. So right now, we will take a short break. And when we return, it will be time for us to look at African Spotlight. Stay with us. Yes. Welcome back. It's been interesting speaking with Comrade Shehu Mohammed, and he has expressed his fears and what government should be doing. So before we conclude today's edition of Africa in View, it is now time for Africa Spotlight. Where we celebrate the history, culture, and achievements of countries across our continent. So today, we shine our spotlight on Namibia. Have you been to Namibia? What do you know about Namibia? Now, let me tell you, Namibia is a country in Southern Africa renowned for its breathtaking landscapes, a rich cultural diversity, and commitment to conservation. Namibia gained independence from South Africa on March 21, 1990, making it one of Africa's youngest independent nations. Since then, it has built a reputation for political stability, constitutional democracy, and peaceful governance. The country is home to the Namib Desert, widely regarded as the world's oldest desert, and the iconic Etosha National Park, one of Africa's premier wildlife conservation areas. Namibia is also recognized as one of the first countries in the world to conclude environmental protection in its constitution, demonstrating its commitment to sustainable development, education. Yes, this is it about Namibia. So you might want to take a trip to Namibia to see all of these. And before we wrap up, let me say in regards to the topic which we have treated today, education remains a national priority, with successive governments investing in expanding access to schooling and improving literacy as part of their responsibility, environmental stewardship, and democratic governance. And we can't afford to just sit on the fence when we feel that government is doing something that is not right. There is need for us to speak out, because we are all building Nigeria together, and we don't have any other country more reason why we need to always call government's attention to doing things rightly. We can only hope for the best from the government of Nigeria. And finally, that wraps it up on this edition of Africa in View. Many thanks to my guest, Comrade Shehu Mohammed, and of course, many thanks to you for keeping a company with Africa in View. And I must not go without saying many thanks to the production team. Many thanks, and this is where we wrap it up. I am Adenike Oweye Ajiboye. Let's do this again, same time, and it's goodbye.